Sunday, 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 Sunday. Good morning. It's Sunday. Give it a sec. Got to make sure they all kind of kick in. That one kicked in. That one kicked in. They're going now. Morning, everybody. Happy Sunday morning. Light the high. Are we there? Give it another 6, 7, 8. There we go. I think everybody's on. Welcome to the Everyday Sniper. You got Frank at Snipers. Hi, morning, Sunday morning. Got up early, did some stuff. Things came in, so we'll talk about some stuff. That. I got stuff here. I got stuff here. All kinds of things. Man, everybody, did you just check out that Idaho shooting thing? In-N-Out Burger. The kid actually has video of him, like, train as you live, and he's in almost the same outfit as he wore in the parking lot of the In-N-Out Burger in Idaho there. So train as you were, right? Kid was doing it on it. And it was a suppressed 5.7, I think he was using. Morning, morning. Yeah, that kid was using a suppressed 5.7 and comes out, takes out the gunman. Gunman was like angry at Teslas or something. Shot people in Teslas. Weird. Like, I don't understand that Tesla hate, but it's a thing. And so who knows? Lots happening. Yesterday, I stopped in at the Gap Range. They are getting ready this week to do the Manners match out here in Missouri. So Manners got their match next weekend. So I popped in yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I popped in yesterday to help them clean up a little bit. I didn't do a ton, but I helped them weed whack. Electric versus gas. No contest, right? I was like there. They had a couple electric ones, and I was playing around with an electric one. And as the battery started to go, I'm on this mound, and it was like, "Brah." Well, one of the guys comes over with a gas one, and he was like, "Brah," and the whole thing was like empty in 2 seconds, where the electric one was like, "Nyin, nyin, 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 nyin," on a blade of grass. And it was trying to cut, trying to cut, trying to cut. But this week, I went and got a whole bunch more of the Hornaday, drove over to, popped over the border into Kansas for shields, and I got 500 rounds of these guys now of the 106 A tips, talking about the 6 arc. I'm going to pop into GA tomorrow. I'm going to bring them the 6 arc they're going to put together. That one, the other one's done. My bolt gun that I switched the Valkyrie over to the 6 arc. So my bighorn that was originally a Valkyrie is now a 6 arc. And so I was talking to Tad yesterday, and it's finished. So I'm going to pop into GA and pick that guy up. It's 19-inch, 6 arc little bolt gun. I'm gonna swap out the hunting stock right now. I have another one coming, but I'm gonna swap out the Manners, the little short folder, and I'm gonna put that guy together with the short folder and Manners, and I think it'll be really neat, and then suppress the hell out of it. I was kind of this morning. I'm sitting there thinking like, what suppressor I'm gonna use, yada yada yada. And I actually think I'm gonna use my 30 cal harvester, Silencer Co. harvester. It's got the kind of the false brake, but it works a little bit. The brake on there, and I'm gonna do the 30 cal harvester, put it on that Shorty 6 arc. It's a Bartland carbon fiber barrel on that guy. And so we're gonna try it out with these, but I'm a big fan of the 6 arc, and I don't think you have to work very hard to get numbers people would want. It's lower cost. I mean, this A tips loaded 28.50 retail. Walk into Shields, $31 a box. This is like a custom load, right? So think about a tip custom load 6 arc is 31 bucks. The regular stuff's not expensive at all. Even the 80 grainers, which I've been shooting a lot and things like that. So lot going on with that. So I'm gonna play that this week. They're doing the Manners match, and then at the end of the week we're heading to Iowa. So I'm gonna leave the range probably alone a little bit. I may go out there one day and do something just on paper, maybe zero stuff up and get it ready. And then as soon as we come back from Iowa and the Manners match will be done, I can run right out to the Gap Range. Like I said, we spent the day yesterday helping George and those guys clean up the range. And what do you call it? Clean it up and weed whack it, cut it, do everything, pick it up. They did it, so I don't want to go out there before the match this week. So they'll have the match at the end of the week, and then the other thing here I got here and here, can't really see it right there. Mountain Forged, Leophoto, Juggernauts. Juggernauts came in. So here's an Series 2 S2 Juggernaut, and here's a S3 Juggernaut. So these guys came in yesterday and pretty psyched on these. These ones, the people have been working pretty hard for that. I didn't even open them yet. Like just brand new open. But pretty psyched on the Juggernaut tripods to see what they're doing. This is sort of the Morgan King and those guys working with Leophoto. So you'll see the Mountain Forged. Um, and then it's the S2 or S3 Juggernaut. A lot of really updated features with the Leophoto. Monday, we went and picked everything up like we talked about. So I have all my original Leophotos. And that's why we were asking Chris to send me those insert pads because I have a really small 2 series Leophoto, and it's more of their hunting line in a 2 series, and I want to switch Chris's chucks over to that light tripod and give you guys a little bit of background with the light tripod using the craft chucks and just kind of, breathing new life into sort of a single use tripod, right? You don't have to go too crazy with it. And, but I think his chucks, if you have an older tripod, even a Manfrotto, you have one of the Stay Pig or Hog tripods, the green ones from Josh over there, you can take that tripod or the leg system, put a little bit better ball head on it, and then use the craft chucks without going out and buying a brand new tripod. But then looking up these guys, the Juggernauts, this S2 is less than $1,000. So it's not overpriced, right? So really right stuff's going to be your gold standard, but not everybody's going to go spend that money. Not everybody's invested in tripods that much. So that's kind of a good way to go with the Leophotos when you're dabbling, you want to do it right. And then, like I said, with these guys, usually it's that 4 series, the 40 millimeter, where, you know, a really right stuff, you're in the 30 series, that 30 millimeter, and the really right stuff, you're saving a little bit of weight, you're spending money, but a lighter tripod's going to do a little bit more from them guys. Well, in the Leophoto, you go to that 40 series, you save $600, which is significant, right? 600 bucks, you save it. Yeah, you got to carry a little bit heavier tripod, and it'll do the same thing. And then I know they kind of redid the shooting. So before they had those MH ball heads with the kind of the motorcycle grip. Now these are back to more of the anvil looking one with the lever. And so this week I'm going to talk about, since I'm not going to go to George's range, I'm going to do a dedicated video for you guys on these Leophotos, and I'll show you how that's working. So I'll probably do Tuesday. I'm gonna start that. And then I have another video too. I talked with Chad. From Chad was on Wednesday night, and he does a desktop iPhone iPad companion loadout program for reloading. And so I downloaded that and I have that on the phone on the computer. Not it's on goes on both. But I'm gonna move this so I don't spill everything. I'm kind of pressed for space here. Hang on, let me see if I get Chad's stuff here if it pulls up. Yep, here it is. So load scope. So we'll talk about Chad's program this week with load scope. It does reloading, kind of like yeah, Leofoto is, but that's what everybody uses. There's no Chicom about it. It is the other version of what is the standard. There is no even two vets. Two vets is Leofoto. And there's certain elements of the carbon fiber and things. Your really right stuff is $1,600. This is $900. So you're not going to get around that, and then it is a thing. I mean, to say, oh, it's Chinese. Dude, your fucking TV is Chinese. The computer you're looking at this on is Chinese. So give me a break, right? Oh, it's Chicom. No, it's good Chicom. It works. They work with everybody. That's why this is Mountain Forged. You know what I mean? They're working with the competitive shooters. Morning, Jimmy. Morning. Laura's sleeping in bed, Jimmy. She's not feeling good. She came back from Nebraska and had a cold. So I actually went in and got my nose vacuumed out on Thursday. Thursday they vacuumed me out. But yeah, Laura's not feeling great. She's sleeping right now. But yeah, I mean it is what it is. The Chicom stuff is what it is. But this is good stuff. It works. It saves you money. It serves a purpose. They took dedicated guys who are shooting, who are doing this stuff, who are competing, and they're working directly with them. These have the locks built into them. These have all kinds of features that you're not going to find in some of the other uh, because they're not working with people the same way. When you get a company that's like, hey, we want to work with you, and people are like, okay, yeah, and then they do it, you get a superior product, even if it is coming from overseas. But anyway, you get around it. You have one choice: really write stuff. If you don't want to spend $1,600, what's your other choice? Leofoto. And Leofoto treats people really well here. I'll say that. And I should put it up. Hide 20. Let me look it up. Is it Hide 20 or Hide 25? I believe it's Hide 20 is the discount code. So I have a discount code for these. Hide 20. So Hide 20, capital HID 20, will get you a discount code for the Juggernaut S2, S3, and for the Leofoto Outdoor. So if you go to Leofoto Outdoors, which is their shooting stuff, put in Hide 20 at checkout, you get a discount. And so they treat people well, man. I'm not gonna put down their communication is excellent. The product works. I not had one fall apart, and I don't treat them well at all. So think about that. I beat the snot out of it, and comes back more and more and more. So it's a choice, absolutely, but I don't think it's a bad choice. And so High 20 will get you a discount on the Leah photos here. And you know, like I said, it is what it is. You're not going to get around the getting stuff from overseas. It's just it is, that's the world we live in today. That's why they got tariffs, right? And so yeah. But yeah, this is it. Man, big and heavy. Oh, look at that guy. There you go. Oh, and it's got the pieces like the Zeiss. This side of the way. Yeah, so whoop, whoop. Listen, it's not tight. There we go. Yeah, so it's got the legs, the double legs. These guys adjust, and then this one adjusts, right? It's almost like a double leg setup. It works really well. But yeah, there it is. That's a 40 series. Look at all kinds of stuff. A little mini ball. Little. And this is their new shooting head right there. Lock setups. Right there's the lock system that they have. So when you're pulling it, it won't collapse on you. So new shooting head, adjustability in that. MF Mountain Forged, everything's marked up. Lock, safety and lock. There you go. But this has the locks. This has the stuff. Hang on. I gotta lock them in. Lock them in. Big, heavy. Big and heavy on these guys. Juggernaut. Mountain Forge Juggernaut. And this is the S3. This guy's the S3 right there. But yeah, this is gonna treat you well, man. Like I said, I zero off the tripod now. I do a lot, and I'm older. It's like, do I want to get prone? Nah, I really don't. I do it off the tripod. I use the tripod like a bench. Um, yeah, and that's it. It's not the insult, right? Absolutely, right? Calling something a Chinese, it's not, and they're pushing the feature set. You know what I mean? Because they're working with Americans. And so it's a case of, do you step up and say, "Hey man, I have a thought. And I think my thoughts put into this product will make it better." Well, either they listen or they don't, right? It's got to be a case of where people go, "Yeah, we're good." Or people go, "No, we'll get it and we'll help you." And so that's really where it's coming down to, is who companies will work with today. And so Leah Photo has been very upfront. They've been very open, and they just happy to work with you. And so that's a positive thing for the community. And so that's kind of why, like I said, I think they treat us really well. I gotta tighten that guy down. It's down here. So, and then like I said, it's got the lock system, and that turns and locks, so it won't collapse. I'm gonna have to get the book and take a look at everything. And then Tuesday I'll do a live with these. I'll do right here. I'll do a rifle and live setup on the hide. So because I'll use a firearm. I won't be able. I won't shoot, but um, I'll be able to do it on the hide more so than the other channels. Mike from Nebraska class, thank you again for an awesome. Yeah, Mike. No, you guys were amazing, man. The Nebraska class, everybody there really, really enjoyed it. We had a blast. You guys were all really great shooters. Really enjoyed it. I mean, even think about it, Mike. It was 105 on Saturday and 109 on Sunday. Never treated it or felt like it because everybody was positive. Everybody got along. We had good wind to practice with. We had good hits down range. Everybody was just moving down range. But really appreciate you coming out, Mike. That was a really fun, really good time in the class. I enjoyed it. So absolutely. I was just speaking of classes too. I was just talking to when I was out at the Gap range yesterday. A lot of guys came out to help out and to do what they had to do. And they were asking me about classes and doing it there. And earlier in the week, I talked to Phil Vallejo with Cadre. And I told Phil I want to bring them out to Missouri here. I'm going to host them at the Gap Range. And so Phil and I were talking about doing something together and putting on a probably early May. Um, nice. Hey, Dietrich, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, Dietrich was rock starring with a gas gun. Gas guns are not always easy for people, and Dietrich on there had a hell of a hand with his gasser. He was driving it nice. I'm like watching down range, and he's hitting it, and he's stacking some of them. I mean, little bitty groups, and he's stacking them. So I'm like watching down range, and I'm like, damn, this guy's stacking them. Like Monday, he had like a group or not Monday, Friday, he had a group this big. And at 100, it was like it looked like this at 100, and then at 800 yards, he had a group this big. It was like, dang. He's like, He's got a 3-inch group at 100. Then he's got a 3-inch group at 800 2 days later. Morning, everybody. Morning. So yeah, we had a blast with you guys, and really really enjoyed it. And we'll be back to Nebraska and see Jake and everybody again. How about that food, right? I mean, other than it was so hot, and these guys are steak guys. You know what I mean? It's like everybody there is like a steak person. And Jake's wife made us these freaking nice giant ribeyes, and like everybody's like, yeah, ribeye. It's 100 degrees. I'm not that hungry, but fantastic food, fantastic all the way around. We just had a blast with everybody. It was a great experience, and I like I said, I enjoy it, and it's funny too because we didn't do as many. There he is, load scopes here. By just saying, Chad, I had your program up, and we'll talk a little bit. Chad came on. We'll talk a little bit about Chad's load scope program right there that he's got going on. And it, like, if you remember, little squirrel history lesson side thing. Remember Quick Load, NECO, right? Quick Load that came from overseas. Well, guys used to go, hey, I'm reloading in Quick Load and give me a number. And at one point, the Quick Load people were like, you can't share the information. And they completely shut down the way people used Quick Load. And so now you got Chad with Load Scope, and you can do your load development, you create your recipe cards, you could pull data directly from your Garmin. So if you go out, it's the impetus for using your Garmin correctly. Like, how many of us go up, new session, boom, pay zero attention, shoot, 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 and then it's like, okay, there's my number. And then we walk away. Well, now it's like, put it together correctly, build the track, do the session, then plug the session into your computer. Load Scope's going to pull that information and help you use it. So the programs are getting so good. And Chad's Load Scope is something I'm going to check out this week. So I'm going to go live with it as I install. I got it installed. As I set it up, I'm going to put a couple sample loads in, and we'll run it through, and we'll bring it to completion together. Like I said, because they have Manners match happening this weekend, I don't want to go to the range and use anything or shoot while they're getting ready for Manners match. So what I'll do is I'm going to do everything here, and I'm going to do the tripods. I'm going to do the load scope program, and so I'm going to take care of that for you guys to take a look at, so we have the video and we could do it that way. But yeah, it's pretty funny. Um, but a lot of stuff, man. Tools, man. Tools are coming in. You know what it is? My surgery's done. I'm kind of moved in. The slides are looking good. And now I can start doing stuff in a little bit bigger basis. So we got computer program to look at. And this being a desktop with a phone companion, so you could sit home at night on your desktop, build all your stuff, build your tracks, do everything you have to, get it ready, shift it to your phone, go to the range, try everything, and be like, yes, no, and then come back and fine tune it. But you'll have your phone to take with you without having to bring the full laptop. So there, it. I mean, so many guys use Excel in numbers to manage their shooting, right? They'll do different development things, different whatever to manage shooting, and so that they go into Excel and they do it manually. Well, when you have a program with a companion set that does all this, it's going to manage your load development, tell you where you're going to land with that. Then you take it from load development to your ballistic computer, then into your management, right? So you're going to go from development to dope to management with Chad's Load Scope. So download it for Windows, for Apple. It has that companion app, but it's a desktop with a companion. It's a golden age of precision rifle right now. We're just doing so much cool shit. I mean, even like talking with George about this. And everybody's like, the 106 versus the 110 in the A tips. And they're like, the 106 is slightly different than the 110s. These are a jacketed tip and not a solid tip. And, George is like, yeah, those are the jacketed tips. Those are going to be really good for hunting. So if you're a 6 millimeter hunter, this stuff, right? 6 arc, preloaded, shields. I went into the Kansas Shields in Overland Park over there and never been in a Shields ever. And so I go in and it's huge. It's packed. This mall area, like outdoor mall, separated stores and all that, was packed. And it was like a mall should be. And so I go into this Shield. It's got a Ferris wheel in it. I'm like, like I said, never been in a Shields. It's got a Ferris wheel in it. I'm like, God damn. I go upstairs. There was at least 6 people in the ammo aisle. It was packed. And then I go and I see the A tips, and there's 300 rounds of A tips on the shelf. I'm like, fine. Took them all. The kid's like, what? At the register. He's like, what are you doing buying all these A tips? I'm like, dude, these are the secret sauce. And so it's just like you can get into that 6 arc sort of hunting and do that because like I was telling the guys yesterday going into the 6 arc world, especially they were like everybody they find it weird these are going 2850. You don't understand. They download stuff on everybody. This is not like, oh, how do I get it? This is like, no, we're not going to give it to you. And so I talk about 2800, 2850 all the time. That's my thing, right? I'm always speed wins. And, most loads we're doing are that 2750. And even like guys were talking at the range yesterday, 25 GT. And I'm like, what speed are you getting out of your 25 GT? And they're like 2775. I would bet they can get creative and hit 28 over. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, a 106 going 2850 with great results. Why can't you do that with the 108, with the 105, with the 103? Right? You have these choices. And that's the other thing with the arc that I'm really liking. From 80 grain to 108, 80, 103, 105, 106, 108. Huge variety in loaded ammo. It's loaded. So you're not, and you can go and chase it. And then that's where Chad comes in, right? Recreate the recipes, put it in your load scope, and go to town. And have that recipe card, have that stuff. And like I use the hide all the time, the reloading depot. I'll say, okay, I got to reload this. I'm usually like a solid or something like that. I don't really reload normally ammo too much. It's normally when solids are coming into play or a bullet that's not going to traditionally get loaded at the factory, which you wouldn't think the A tip like this would get loaded. But because it was this military match, they overdid it, and it was a project, and they had so much of it. It's like, here, we'll give it to the masses. It's amazing. This is what they're doing for the military. The masses are a notch down. You know what I mean? The military is 2850. Civilian world, 2750. That's because it's a little easier to load for a greater variety of ammo, or not ammo, a greater variety of shooters and rifles, right? It's easier to load for a greater variety of people, greater variety of rifle systems, 2750 versus 20, right? Faster is a little harder for them to get accurate. So you don't want a guy to go and have, a 2950 load from the factory, puts it in his rifle and shoots like this, right? You don't want that. You want it to be good. So they go into that slower node, that 2750. And it all works pretty close to the same. And once you get up there, but it's like it's working smarter versus harder. You have to be on your game shot to shot at 2750. Hey, Ireland's in the house. Ireland. It's nighttime for you guys, right? I'm morning here, nighttime. Ireland's in the house. We dig Ireland. And so that's part of the deal. Oh, that's kind of neat. I'm like, they got a dual. They got two different ways of adjusting that. That's kind of neat. I was just like my squirrel attention. They got a knob, but then they have a throw. I was like, how does that work? And then the ball. I got to figure out how that thing's out, but I'll get it. But yeah, so it's it's like here's for the masses, here's for that advanced. And when you're kind of going into that advanced shooting, you see, hey Frank, what do we got? John, we brought a Night Force NX 5 to 30 for my second case. This thing, wish the windage knob was a little larger, less than the price of it. Yeah, it, and I get that. So I got an NX8 right here. In fact, I'm gonna put the NX or the six rather NX6. I'm gonna put the NX6 on that Shorty 6 arc. So John's got an NX6. He's got an F1 for his Cadex 6.5 Creed, and it's a great rate if you don't want to go Zico price. This toolless NX6. I mean, it's right here. I'm kind of wedged in. Got the NX6 right here, ready to go. I'm gonna NX6 it. Right there. Is that a 193? No, that's 1.5. Right there. Right? There's the NX6 toolless, clip, turn, move it. I'm gonna put this guy on that 6 arc shorty that they're done at George's there. I'm gonna do the NX6, and then I have the 5 to 30, or I think I have the 6 to 36 right here behind me. So I have the 6 to 36, and then the 2 to 12 for the night forces. So yeah, I'm a big fan. Now, the thing with Night Force is you can't kill them. These are so amazing, and they're just straightforward, no messing around. You can't kill this guy to for anything. And so totally, I'm a big fan of the Night Forces. Matter of fact, I moved some stuff around, and I had to change one of the Zeisses over for Laura from the weekend. Right, her Zeiss was like, I don't think the turret was sitting correctly, but I moved the Night Forces to some of my scopes, and then I moved the Zeiss over to her rifles, and I did it that way. I did that yesterday. Oh, there, Laura's on. Hey, baby. Hey, everyone. Jimmy was saying hi to you, Laura. Laura's up now. She woke up. So, Jimmy, Laura says hi. So yeah, so a lot of kind of cycling through. Like I said, we got this weekend. We got Iowa, but as soon as I come back, I'm free and clear into August until September. So we'll be bringing you a lot more new digital content, new videos, and things like that, and we'll be able to work with all this stuff. But I got the 6 arc variety to show everybody, to show them the A tips coming out of it. I got the mountain tripods. Um, and then I'm gonna do the tripods here. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the rifles. It's gonna be a fun little weekend because since the move, everything's now falling into place. Good day from we got we got Australia, we got Ireland on. What's up? I love that song. That song held up from the land down under. He comes from a land down under. We're women. Whatever. I don't remember the lyrics, but you know what I mean. That song held up. Same thing with Midnight Oil. Midnight Oil held up too. So you got to give them that. What is it? Men Without Hats. Men Without Hats, one hit wonder, made it. And Midnight Oil, it survived. I guess we could always kind of do the ACDC thing too, because ACDC's timeless, right? You guys got timeless. The Vegemite sandwich. There you go. That's a paste, isn't it? Vegemite's a paste. Nobody likes that stuff. It's not very good. I've never had it, but I've been around it. I've never, like, even just looking at it. Nah, I don't want a Vegemite sandwich. Yeah, not me. Got to give me some steak. Like we were talking about Jake McDaniel's wife making those. I'm still kind of bummed we didn't cut up a bunch of that ribeye and make ribeye sliders. We had all those rolls, those amazing rolls that she had. Oh, so good. What do you think about the preferred speeds and calibers? Dude, 2850 solves everything for everything. Morning, morning, everybody. Larry's on. Morning, Larry. 2850 is asking about speed. So Jacob's asking about speed. I personally think 2850 solves everything. 2850 is the magic number. One, it's a magic number. I think 2850 is your magic number. If you hit 2800 to 2850 with whatever you're using, you're going to win. You're going to have much more consistency. You're going to have even like 338, 338, 2850. Your 7 PRC, give me 2850. That's all I really need. I mean, they want speed because speed wins and kills shit. But if you reach 2850, you're in that node that works. And so I would just do, I mean, even in a 6.5 Creedmoor, get a 2850. Nice. 175s and two O's. There you go, Larry. Larry's doing the high mounts for everybody. If you guys remember, I got your bags. They're right there, Larry, the high mounts. I was almost thinking we're going to Iowa, and I'm almost wondering if I bring some mounts in case I get away and I can drop some off at like Hendrix for Gordon. Because Gordon was asking about mounts. 2850s, this is a node. You know what I mean? Like, think about your 308. Your 308 175 was 2650. Then 6.5 Creedmoor factory ammo came out. It's 2750. 2850 is a speed node that falls into right. Yeah, a 136 going 2850 is going to be that money zone. But if you take that 136, what is he? Brad. It's Brad. Sorry, Brad. If you take that 136 Brad's talking about, and if he goes 2750 with it, he's got to manage the wind harder. He's got to work a little bit harder, right? His SDs will probably show up a little sooner. His 1 second time of flight is going to come in closer. But if you go to 2850, everything just it's a tune on a guitar, right? It's like it's just the right node. You know what I mean? Yeah, Area 419 is good. Somebody just asked me about that. Like, they were like, what mount? What are you doing? I'm like, Area 419. I mean, here I got the Night Force, but the other rifles behind me, they're the air. I'm moved to the Area 419 now. I have Badgers C condition ones, the C1s, because of the 193, and I have Area 419. Yeah, 2 to 12 would be plenty, Northman, especially for a GT. Like, and you think about the GT, right? Think about where the GT is out of the box. It's over 2,800. It's right, depending on your rifle, your barrel, and like, are you 24 or 26? If you're 24, yes, it's the G spot, right? The G string. 2850 is the G spot for your bullet. It's like, I got to find that G spot. 2850, right? 2750, you might get her off. You're going to work a lot harder. 2850, much quicker to get her off. And it's like, it's totally that G spot for your bullet. 2850 is, you got to think about like speed nodes. You know what I'm saying? So there's like a slow node, there's a second, third, and a fourth. And we were talking like 22s, anything 224, 22 caliber, they like to go faster. You get a 22, right? 22 GT, 22 Arc, 22 Creedmoor. You get any of those 22s over 2950, they're going to work better. They're not going to fall off as fast, right? Because if you go too slow, your 22 is really small and light, it's going to drop its speed off. Higher BC numbers come from weight. And like a softball, the weight carries the distance, right? The momentum. The it's like I'm carrying that momentum in the weight. When you go with a light bullet like a 22, you can't carry that momentum as far. You have to push it harder to get it kind of here. But in doing so, less drop, less drift. That's all the work Chris did, the 153 and the 156, 6.5 Creedmoor versus the 100 grain 6.5 Creedmoor. After 900 yards, your heavier bullet's going to do better. But inside 900 yards, the lighter, faster bullet gets there sooner with less drop and less drift. So now, if you have a really light, fast bullet getting there with less drop and less drift, to say 800. Now, if you take a very similar bullet in cartridge and slow it down, even like 2650, where they're floating it like with the 153 at 2600, where they float it. They have to be on top of their wind game. And the deciding factor is the SD, right? Because when those guys are hand loading those heavies light or, slow, the heavies hand loaded slow, they're bringing their SDs down below 5. You know what I mean? They're in the 3s, 2s, and 1s. And so their deviation is very small. And so they'll stack it. They got the call, and now they're stacking it in the same place. Well, if you have a lot of speed and now your SD's bigger, it's it's going to change your group up a bunch. So you have to look at G spot. There you go. Yeah. The G 2850. Your bullet's G spot. I'm going to do a t-shirt. We're going to do a t-shirt. So this 6 arc right here I've been talking about. See this stack right here, Brad? This 6 arc I just picked up. This is factory loaded 106 A-tips. 2850 out of my Zeus bolt gun. 2850 out of my Zeus bolt gun. It is 3 mils to 600, 7.2 mils to 1,000. Plug that stuff in and look at your results. This is where, Chad, your load base, you need almost like a Wes. Put it into a Wes. Go into an applied ballistics and put a 2750 in and then put a 2850 in. You know what I mean? That's where that Wes needs to come into play. Look at your deviations and look at it at like 8 and 1,000. Don't look at it under 800 yards, right? Look at it at 1 second time of flight and look at it at 1.5 seconds time of flight. You can do 1, 2, but I'm going to give you a 1 second time of flight and a 1.5 second time of flight. When you go into your applied ballistics and when you're looking at your numbers and you're trying to figure out, what's your guess on how good this load is going to work, use 1 second time of flight and use 1.5 second time of flight. That's going to be where no, these aren't. These only went to one store. You'd have to hand load these. These only went to one store here, and these were a military overrun that Hornaday gave to Shields to sell. And so you'd have to hand load them. But a 106 A tip at 2850 out of the 6 arc. Hand load it. Right. Wes is perfect. Exactly. Look at your Wes. Go into the Wes and look at the numbers. 2650, 2750, 2850. Then, once you go through and you're looking at that, if you want, look at 2850 to 29. It really won't change between 28 and 29. You're not going to see a huge difference 28 to 29 unless the bullet's light. The lighter the bullet, then when you go into 29, you're slowing that down. So your drift will come down a bit. but your elevation's not going to cheat as much as it does. And so it's not going to cheat as much. And that's part of the deal. Now, like I said, 22s and light bullets that are going fast, and it's part of the reason why guys are doing 130s, right? NRL Hunter and stuff. The 130, it gives them that speed and everything they're looking at, but they're also trying to make power factor. So they're trying to balance. I mean, 25 Creedmoor. 25 Creedmoor is 135, right? And that's where all the better numbers are coming in because they're taking a 135 and they're making it act like a 6 millimeter at 2800. It's like, I got this really good 6 millimeter. I'm going to push it 2,800 feet per second, but it's too light. It's too slow. It's too small. I don't have power factor. But if I take this 25 and I make a 135 and I push it at the same speed, now I make power factor and it does amazing things. And that's why everybody loves the 25 Creedmoor or the 25 caliber. You know what I mean? Because it brought the weights down and the speeds back up. So, right, when the 6.5 Creed came out, 140, 140, 140. 140s in a lot of cases went too slow. Now, COVID changed that, slowed everything down. We had a couple that dabbled in the 28s, right? And then COVID came and they slowed everything down, and now 2750, 2750, 2750. Well, if you take a 140 going 2750 out of your 6.5 Creedmoor, it's going to do something. You're going to have to work hard, and your dope's not going to be great. You're going to start falling off a little bit at a 800 to 1,000, and you're going to work harder, not smarter. Now, like Brad and those guys are talking about, if you take the same 136 and speed it up and get it over that 2,800, like it basically, you're taking the 140, you're going to reduce the weight, and you're going to pick up the speed. But a 136 BC is very similar to an average 140. So now you're taking a BC number with a lighter bullet, speeding it up. That's why the 136 tends to work really, really well, right? Well, then they take the 130, lighten it up again, and they're at that 29-ish, right? They're between 2850 and 2950, depending on the rifle and the load. But they're bringing that 130 up to your 28 plus. It's working better for them. They don't have to work as hard, right? It's a little bit more consistent. Why? Time of flight that Chris was talking about. If I can bring that same target within my 1 second time of flight, my 100-yard group is going to carry to that 1 second. But if I take that and it's now 1.2 to 1.5 second time of flight, I have to work much harder. I'm much more susceptible to the SD and the standard deviation coming into play. I have more time in the wind with the bullet, right? I'm not 1 second in the wind, I'm 1.5 seconds in the wind. I got to work it more. So that's everything we're looking at with that stuff. So that's why I'm going in the direction that I'm going. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. But the Wes is a way for you to visualize it. Morning, my man. Chive. Morning, my man. Hope you and Laura are doing well. Love the gun talk. Are you going to talk concealment? Oh, concealment. Stalk Island. What do you want to know? You know what? Concealment. I'm going to tell you concealment. Here's the trick: masking, route selection, right? You don't have to get crazy gilly anymore if you mask and route selection. Stalk Island, guys. Stalk Island, masking and route selection. That's the trick to doing it nowadays, right? If I come walk straight at something, it sees me, it knows I'm there. If the wind's coming behind me and blowing my scent at it, it knows I'm there, right? But if I go, wind's coming this way, I want to look this way, I need to come this way so the wind's not there. That's route selection, right? That's putting it all into play. Then I need to mask. if I take, I'll do it with the boxes, right? If I want to block something and I put myself between two things like this, I can still shoot. Now you see less of it, right? I get behind this box in the back here where my finger is, and this box is helping to block that one side of me. I can thread the needle, and now I'm masking my position, and I'm threading the needle, and you can't see me because I have these two boxes and I'm in between them, but I'm staggering the boxes to get around them. Yeah, exactly. Right? What are you guys thinking? Tell me, Stockland, what are you thinking about that? Route selection and masking. You got to pick the right route, and then you got to mask yourself between you and the target if you can. Yes. Yes, using that negative space to your benefit. So you got a tree here, got a tree here. You go between them, and then the two trees are like that. And now I'm just looking through that crack. Much harder to see, right? I can even close that. And now I'm looking between the crack, and I can see my screen. I can see what's going on. I can still read stuff and see what's happening. I can still identify, but it's harder for that person or that animal on the other end to see me because I have things between me. And the more things I can put between, the better I am. Route selection and masking. Now I don't have to gilly up. Now I don't have to look crazy. But what happens when it's an open field and you don't have it? Now concealment's key. Low and slow. I got to get, right? Less movement. Slow and deliberate. Oh, I can't move too fast. Slow and deliberate movements and things like that. So that's what's going on. Route selection and masking. But we got everybody, man. It's an international. It's like international today. We have International Sunday. It's almost like I feel like soccer and all that. Very cool. Very cool. Stockland. Stockland's using the negatives, right? Right. Having stuff around you so you're not skylined and masked. Things like that. But it's a weird. Somebody. A matter of fact, we were just looking. Was it Brownells or something? Brownells went to oh, morning guys. I didn't see you guys over there. Morning, Robbie. Morning, men at work, everybody. What's Mark saying? I didn't even see Mark was on. Oh shit. I went the wrong way. Sorry, I changed my I killed my thing. Sorry guys. Sorry guys, I killed the hide stuff. I'll have to go back and hit you guys up. Um I was like, I hit a button to go read what Mark was saying, and it went and took me to Mark, and now I got to try to figure out how to get back off of him. There we go. Oh, there it is. Now I got it. Yeah, even Mark saying so. I didn't see. My little thing was covering those guys up, but yeah, Mark was saying he shoots 6.5 by 47. His load in his 6.5 by 47 from day one, 2850, and it was dead nuts, accurate, precise. He didn't work ultimately hard. He's a great loader. He did not work hard to get 2850 out of a 6 by 47, right? 6 by 47, a 6 by 46 is a GT, 6 by 47, all that stuff. So you can get that 2800, 2850 out of these cartridges. Cheers, Franks. Getting back to work. Oh, you got to go back to work, Brad. Enjoy, man. Thanks for stopping in. You guys have a great night over there. Man, Sunday night, you're not supposed to be working, Brad. Or is it Monday over in Australia already? I don't know. Might be Monday. I don't know how the date line works. Not paying attention. But yeah, 2850 is just the magic number. It's the magic number. It's the G spot. Like they said, it's the G spot. It's probably the G curve spot. It's the G7, the G1. It's the G spot for your bullet. 2850 G spot. So yeah, there you go. And so that's what's happening with that stuff. Robbie's there, Casey's there, men at work, everybody's there, making sure I'm reading everybody right. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And then it's harder not, or it's smarter not harder. You know what I mean? When you kind of get to that spot. And that's the reason why you want to hand load, right? Because not very little factory ammo pushes you over there because it's harder for them to get accurate for enough people. So that's why the reloading. One, to bring your SDs down, right? Sub eights, sub sevens. And the other is to get your speeds up. So it's like I can tune that to my rifle faster in that better node rather than saying this factory ammo is 2750. Why would I recreate 2750 if I can recreate 2850? You know? And so um that's oh, it's Monday at 1:40. Damn. Sorry, Brad, you got to go to work. But yeah, that's just kind of like through my experience, through Mark's experience, through everybody's experience, we find you work smarter, not harder. And it's like I said, it's why they hand load. It's why the 6 millimeter at 2800 to 2850. Why all these things that the comp guys are doing. Why a lighter bullet, less recoil? Why hand loading, smaller SD? Why 2800? That accuracy node. Why? You know what I mean? Why ask why? Because this is what they're doing, and that's why they're doing it. And so that's the answer to all that. And it'll be neat. I was almost thinking too, because I have a 20-inch barrel for my Zeus, and but this one's coming in at 19. So what's the difference, right? So I'm just gonna do that, and I'll leave the 20-inch barrel for the Zeus for a minute. Um, is the shell shock casing the plastic? Because there's different. Everybody's got a different name. What's the shell shock? Because he's his 308 is coming out 28 hill more feet per second than traditional brass. Or is that the metal? The shell shock is the new. Because like I said, we got peak now. We got that. I mean, speed wins, and to be able to push something. I mean, 260 feet per second is a lot. So if you're got to be at 2800. I I had I still have it back. Lapua, look up the 170 HPS. The 170 grain high performance sniper. It was a lock base 170. That was over 2850, and they staked the primers on that. Right? So even back then, Lapua even recognized if their military, their sniping bullet, which was the 170 HPS, was speed based to the point they staked the primers, right? So it's metal. Oh, okay. No, I don't know the shell shock one, but yeah, I mean, anything like that is going to be better, and especially if it's not negatively hurting your rifle. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of what they're doing. Right, 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 right. And so, yes, if it's not negatively affecting the rifle system, the pressures, because they're talking about going from the 65,000 to the 80,000 for us, right, on the civilian side. The military side is looking even going higher because body armor, right? So for us to go from that 56 to 65,000 to 80, they don't want your guns blowing up. So these cases, these alloys, and all these things, and that's what we were just talking about out at the range, that you had some of the old yes. And so it expands. So we were just talking about that yesterday. So the guys were talking about the peak performance when we were working the gap range and everything. And they were saying, you look at some of the old steel casing, and the old steel casing didn't sort of mold, I guess. Didn't come out in it. popped you a little bit because it stayed stiff. The load wasn't hard, the case was hard. And so you had like that more snap. Now with this alloy, it's a thinner case with a metal that sort of does the same as brass, but it's holding those pressures different, so it's giving. It 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 molds to your chamber without hitting the bolt harder. So it's out, not back. I mean, and I'm talking total layman shit. There's probably engineer talk that'll bring this down. But we were just talking about that. So you won't see that sort of higher recoil with higher pressure and velocity. You're seeing the same recoil, the same results with higher numbers. I've broke the see, and that's what I thought. I thought it was the plastic at first, the two piece. I blew up a two piece. I had one, it broke a Seekins, Laura Seekins, in fact. I was shooting 223, 556 two-piece cases before they had it right. And it cratered and blew up a rifle. I can go in there and pull the chunks of bolt. It's sitting in the vault back there. But I have blown up a 556 with the two-piece brass. And so that's why I wasn't, because this was early on, and that's why I wasn't sure if you were talking the plastic with the metal on the back, because they were selling in the 308, and I want to almost say it was true, the true velocity and all that, where it was the plastic, the printed, and then the metal in the base was the two-piece case. Um that and I ran away from it after it blew the rifle up. You know what I mean? I was out with the army shooting it. I had the guys from Fort Carson in Colorado. I had like 12 guys from Fort Carson out, and I had the two-piece 556 came in with the 77 grain, and I had the Seekins bolt action, the Hit Pro, like third round, boom. And it was like, okay. And then I did another one, boom. And it cratered the gun and destroyed it. So I got super shell shocked. I got super shell shocked from the two-piece cases because I blew a 223 up. And so, yeah, I ran away from it. So that's why I'm not on top of all the numbers and the acronyms and everything that Chad's talking about there, because I got scared when it blew my rifle up. And I'm like, nah, I'm not touching this anymore. And when the majority of what we were seeing was the two-piece plastic, and I saw zero benefit for a civilian to shoot the two-piece plastic. Yeah, I blew mine blew up, dude. I'm not gonna mention names or anything. I had early stuff and it cratered and blew up. I can go back there and get it, and I'm not mentioning anybody's names or anything like that. It was an early load. I got a whole bunch of I still have loads of it. Um yeah, 2.7 mils at 1K. 2.7 mils. Right? I wear iPro now, but I don't always wear it. No, it blew up on me, so I didn't go near that. Oh, difference. I was gonna say, holy cow, man, yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, and I get it. I early on I got a bunch of it and it blew my gun up. And I have to send it back to Seekins because it cratered it. But yeah, absolutely. Uh, it blew my gun up, so I can go back there and go get one and show it to you. It nuked my rifle, so I was like, no, I'm not shooting that anymore. And it was the 77 grain 556 that I was shooting from that. And so that's why I kind of put it out of my head, like out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to talk about it no more. It broke. I got yelled at. It broke her gun. I was shooting because Glenn had sent me a Hit Pro with everything from 223 all the way up to 6.5 PRC. And I put the 223 together, got that shell shock 77 grain 2-piece Badland. I don't think it might have been Badland, I don't remember. Um and I ran it in. Yes, the Nebraska Sportsman Series. We were just talking about that too. The September 18 and 19, if you guys, the Sportsman Series over in Nebraska is that. But yeah, it nuked my gun. So I kind of stopped looking at it for a minute. Um, I didn't think it was quite ready for prime time yet, and I hadn't chased it back down. So maybe I'll order some Badlands and take a look at it. Like I said, I got in on the early and it bit me in the butt. And so then I kind of, whoop, I'm done. And so I hadn't gone back. And then that's when I switched over to the 6 arc. You guys again, the guys are all talking about the 6 arc. I got who is it? The 6 arc in Nebraska. I got the 6 arc from Nebraska. I ended up getting the shields and picking up a bunch. I got 500 rounds, and it was just sitting on the shelf. I was like, whoop, whoop. I was like, give me it all. I should have asked them to go in the back and find me some more, but I ordered it up and did all that. But yeah, I cratered a gun pretty good and killed broke the bolt. Probably wrecked a little bit of the chamber in the barrel, and who knows what else it happened. I mean, that's that's the um that's the downside if you want to be an early adopter with certain shit. It's like, oh, I'm gonna jump on this bandwagon quick because speed wins, and then it was, I was like, oh fuck, and I kind of, I put it to the side, and I was saying something, and Laura's like, "Is that my rifle?" I'm like, maybe. It's just and so I got in trouble. And on top of it, I did it was her rifle. Right, the test pilot. Yeah, that was the worst part, it was her rifle. Yeah, so it was but it happens. It happens. But no, I'm in a good spot. Like I said, I got everything going on. I got all the stuff to play with. I'm in a good place here to test it all up. We'll do the videos with Chad's load base this week. I'm gonna install it and I'm gonna run right into it's installed. I'm gonna set it up. I stopped it on the setup screen so I can go through it with Chad's load scope program. But I think it's a great replacement for I totally broke the other kid's toys. I totally did. It was like, uh, I'm breaking her. I totally, I totally broke her toy. I'm like, and it's not like I don't have a RPR, like a 223 RPR sitting back there. I could have used. I could have broke a $900 RPR. Instead, I broke Laura's friggin' $2,000 Seekins Hit Pro. It was like, oh, this RPR they gave me. Well, I could break that, but no, I'm gonna break the Hit Pro. And it's like, ah. My nose is itching. I don't want to stick my finger up my nose, but it's driving me crazy. It's itching right now. Nebraska final. Yeah, we were just thinking because guys are talking about the different series because the I was talking with the Dead Ringer guys and they're doing NRL 22. So yesterday there was a lot of NRL Hunter slash NRL 22, and I was saying how that over at Jake's they're doing the NRL Hunter the Sportsman series, the Nebraska Sportsman series finale at Jake McDaniel's JM Precision. It's September 18, 19 weekend. So really great. I mean, the wind there, the range there, you know what I mean? It's just so much. And Chad and those guys are over there. They just do a fantastic job in Nebraska. Nebraska's got a great shooting community. And like their ranges are spread out just about right. Aren't you guys like roughly right around They're like right around 2 hours from each other. So you get like that perfect, like it's a little bit, you don't have to go 4, you can go 2, but you don't go 1, you know what I mean? They're not on top of each other. But Nebraska's got a great community of people. And so they do a fantastic job. But there's like so much happening between the Leofoto, the tripods that came in, the Mountain Forged. Here's the S3. For you guys that popped in, I got a Mountain Forge S3 we're going to go and talk on. And then this is the new ball head that changed it out. It's got the adjustment here. It's got the adjustment here. And so that's going to allow them to do. But yeah, it's kind of got a double and kind of neat. What does that bury in and lock? Nope, doesn't lock that. Yeah, interesting. So I'm gonna get into the bones of this guy this week, and then I'm gonna get into the meat of show you Chad's program or not. Yeah, Chad's program again. I got too many Chads going on. There's Chad, and Chad. But this is the load scope right here, and your desktop with a companion app and everything. And so it's good to get in on it, and this will do everything. So you'll have your rifle and setup, measure and target, import data, results, range and dope, pocket cards, load cards, libraries, and then compare your load, right? So it's kind of like I said, it's like quick load. It's a little bit of quick load, it's a little bit of AB, it's a little bit of it all combined together into one program, and it'll use your ballistic X, it'll use your Garmin data, it'll use a bunch of information to come out and to help you develop your load. And I appreciate Chad chasing me down this week and walking me through a little bit of it. And then, like I said, I'm gonna learn it when together. So I'll pull the camera over my shoulder. We'll sit here. I'll have some load data and we'll plug it all in and we'll look at it. I may even, because I have some of the Garmin, I may even throw my Garmin because I just charged it up and I have all the Garmin numbers from that. But while I'm letting the guys do the manners match this weekend at the Gap range, I don't want to step on what they're doing. I'll do indoor computer stuff and we'll talk about all the different programs because I think that'll be neat. But yeah, a lot of conversations going on, man. For a Sunday morning, you guys are on top of it. Everybody's like, man, I'm all having a great time. But for a Sunday morning, we're all kind of just having a blast and looking at it. My coffee's cold and all that. But yeah, a lot of neat shit. Like I said, I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna pick up the Gap rifle. I'm gonna drop off the proof, and I'll have that PTX dropped off for them to put that together. And then my other the Gap with the Bartlands done. I'm gonna pick that guy up, and yeah, we'll just go down into Kansas City, pick up a burrito, and then pop back and talk to you guys and play with it. But a lot of neat stuff, man. A lot of neat stuff. And then, like I said, I am going to do, because one of the guys were talking about the NX6s, I am going to put this NX6, the 2 to 12, on that shorty little 6 arc. We'll see what the different loads do. Like I said, why I like that 6 arc is because everything from the 80 grain to the 108 to these 106s, I think they work really well. And they work really well with that variety of loads. If you need your speed back, go to a lighter bullet. The 80 grains going 3,000 feet per second. Oh, I should go grab it. I wanted to show you guys the 80 grain 6 arc out of my Terminus Zeus with a Bartland barrel. I'm getting 3,005 feet per second with an SD of 3.7. It's got a sub 4 SD from factory ammo. So think about what you can do with that. It's going to be less recoil. It's super accurate. I mean, it does amazing little groups. And the only thing is, depending on your location, heavier winds will push it around, but not till after 6-8. Excuse me, got hiccups. Not until after 6 or 8. So if you're doing a match that's got a sweet spot of 400 to 600 yards, 80 grain 6 arc's going to do it for you. You know what I mean? It'll work for you, especially with SDF4. How do you beat that? You know what I mean? It's going to be consistent enough. And so there's a lot that we can play around with. There's a lot that we can do um to play. And then, even like right here behind me, these two rifles right here, 6 GT. To me, a 6 GT is pre-tuned, right? It's 2800. It's pre-tuned. And if you go like, and I'm shorter barrels. I don't have 28. I mean, production gun does. The production gun, I think, is over 2800. But even my other 6 GT with a 24-inch barrel is over 2800. So here's a factory load 109 6 GT, and I'm 2800. That's a sweet spot, and that's the comp load. That's a comp bullet. That was purpose built for the prissy people. And so if I can get a 6 arc to do very similar stuff without a lot of effort, that opens up a gas gun, that opens up a bolt gun, that opens up factory ammo for less money when I don't need to reload or spend the money. You know what I mean? Reloading's time, reloading's effort. Guys are all like, winners use dashers. Winners also spend 10 grand to get up and running because you got to custom build the rifle. You have to have all that reloading stuff, and you're going to buy all the little Finnegan stuff, right? To make sure that that dasher runs and feeds and does all the things that hung it up when people first were looking at it. And so it's a big, heavy cost of entry. Yeah, once you get into it, then it's just barrels, right? Sure. But it's a heavy cost of entry. And so if you have a friend who's a gas gun guy and he's a 6 arc gas gun guy, get him an upper and let him do an 80 grain at 22 inches. You can ease him into a comp. You can ease him into a quantum performance. Then Bighorn Origin. That's your cheapest custom action. Less than $1,000. Get a bolt head. Put it on. Now you can Bighorn Origin with pre-fit barrels if you need it, but bug holes or somebody will make you barrel up without a lot of money, and then you can ease into it. So you're not spending, like the guys who are in Nebraska. Later, you guys taking off, Chad? Nice talking to you. Yeah, we will, Chad. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for the email, and I'll look at it and talk to you soon. But you can then ease a new shooter who's a gas gun guy, and then into something quantum performance, one of those things, and then you can go into that. And so, morning everybody. What do we got? Grumpy old taters. Well, that's where we're just talking, grumpy old man there. We're just talking new tripods that came out. Sub $1,000, Mountain Forge, Leofoto, right? Juggernaut S3 right there. There's your jugs, Juggernaut. And so I got these came in yesterday. And so this week we'll be talking tripods and where to save a buck or two. I mean, all my really right stuffs, there's two right there. I love them. I dig my really right stuff. It's lighter. It's it's solid to shoot off of. It's going to give me. But if I go a little heavier and the 40 mil versus 30 mil, I'm going to zero off of it. I could do all these things. A tripod is your rules, right? That's the difference. If you go up to a barricade, you go up to a prop, you have to adapt to where you can shoot your rifle off that prop, off that barricade, off that object. It's like, where in your world is the location for that rifle to go? Might not be ideal for you. A tripod, you make your own rules. You know what I mean? You're making your own rules. I'm going to put that ball head right here where I need it. You know what I mean? I'm making my own rule. Tripod goes here. That's my rule. What's your rule of thumb? Tripod head goes here. What's my rule of thumb? Game changer bag on tripod goes here. You know what I mean? But if I go to the range and all those props are there, here, 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 here. I have to adapt to those locations, right? I'm up higher, I'm down lower, I'm over sideways. I'm doing something to compromise that position to get the shot off. Now, the more I practice the compromises, the better I'll get at them. But if I have a tripod, it's my rule. I put the ball head in my location. I don't just drop a leg and go up, that's where it ended up. Leg fell here, ball head's here, shoot it. Nah, that's not how it works. I put it where I want it. Then I'm going to shoot it where I want it, how I want it, my tension, my tighten it, right? Everything about it, I'm setting. And so it's your car, right? Rifle setup, tripod setup is your car. Seats, mirrors, steering wheel. When you get in your car, you adjust the mirrors, you adjust the seats, right? You can adjust the steering wheel. Then, when someone else uses your car, if they don't put it back, you know, you go, who touched my car? Why is it here? It wasn't there when I left it. It was over here, right? Mirror was here, now it's here. Mirror was here, now it's here. That's not how I left it. You immediately know. That's how your familiarity with your rifle and your tripod and that setup should be. If you're in the prone position and something's off, you immediately should know. If you're on a tripod and something's off, you immediately should know. If your length of pull or your scope had been moved magically, you immediately should know, right? And that's where people will lose it over a course of a day. If you're shooting over a course of a day, your eyes getting tired or something's fatiguing or you're not feeling great or you're like, I don't like the way that is or that is, it's probably a rifle setup problem. You're probably not set up and it's probably not working for you, it's working against you. And you're working harder and it's fatiguing you and taking some things away. Whoa, what do we got? Um Frank, my RPR under the weather a bit. I'm looking whether the barrel swap necessary. Yeah, just a pogue there. Just a pogue's accent. Yes. And I'm gonna tell you, so in the past, he's asking about a six Creedmoor versus six arc. Six Creedmoor you'll find everywhere. When I was in Alaska, six Creedmoor's on the shelf. Okay. Six Creedmoor today with like the 120. Now here's the thing. A six Creedmoor nukes a barrel because it's fast, right? It's going to nuke the barrel a little sooner. My six arc going max 2850. I'm going to kill it 2500 right around there, right? But if my six Creed going 3000 to 32, I'm going to kill it closer to 1800. So Justice talking about his six Creedmoor. Laura's got a ton of six Creedmoor here. I have a ton of six Creedmoor. Now with the 120s, six Creedmoor can become your best friend. Six Creedmoor, factory ammo, factory brass, speed, barrel burning, but now you can meter the speed with a bullet weight, right? Six Creedmoor, you should be looking at 110s to 120s, not 103s to 105s, 110s to 120s. So you throw your speed up on your six Creed, you bring your velocity down, put it in the sweet spot. You absolutely can do something just as easy with a six Creed today. I would have, um, 3 months ago, I would have said six Creed's going to nuke your gun, and it's going to be fast. It's going to be that. Today, I'm not a negative on a six Creed. I think it's a good, viable six Creed's a 243 with a different twist. Just a 243, right? instead of a 14 twist on a 243, it's a 7.5 on a 6 Creed. It's the only difference. If I take a 243 bullet, load it in my my 6 Creed gun, everything's the same but the case. I'm going to put my 243 load into a 6 Creed bullet, put it in a 6 Creed gun. It's just the twist rate. And so it'll work. So 243's been there for a million years, right? Older than all of us. So I don't have a negative because you can it's good. You know what I mean? And do the 120s. And instead of going like heavier, 106, 108 out of a arc or lighter to bring the speed up, with a 6 Creed, go as heavy as you can. 120s. Right? You want to get 120s, reload your 6 Creed, get it in there. Hopefully somebody's going to come out with a 120. If Hornaday did a 120 grain 6 Creed load, I bet you it goes 2850. Because the 120.65 Creedmoor goes 2850. We talked about it. 65 Creedmoor, Hornaday, 120 grain match. What's the speed? 2850. It's not 3000. It's not 29. But if you take a 100 grain Hornaday, it's 3200. It's varmint load. 3200 on a 100 grain, 2850 on a 120 match. Right? So the varmint, they want you to go as fast as possible to kill that coyote. Kill that coyote as quick as you can. But on their match load, 2850. It's a magic number. G spot. Yes. Right. And you could just change your barrel and do whatever. You can change it to something else in that family. You could do a 6 GT, dude. If you want to get rid of your 6 Creed and just do a barrel swap, 6 GT. Just a poo there, or pogue. Yeah, just a poo. Just a pogue. Just a pogue can do a 6 GT out of that RPR. And you're going to be in the same thing, but with a tuned cartridge. So instead of 6 Creed going 3000, maybe I put a 120 and hand load it, do a 6 GT, get a 109 factory, and you're at your 2800 out of your RPR. And so you can turn an RPR into a 6 GT. And big fan of the 6 GT. Factory ammo, pre-tuned load, loads really well, magazines, all that stuff. It's a 6x47, right? That's a great 6.5 by 47 is great. 6x47 is great. Well, doing a 6x46 is good. Nothing wrong with it. Do a GT. You could do a GT, dude. It's a 6.5 Creedmoor right now. I like the Creedmoor. I would, if you're gonna do that, I would almost do a GT. If you're gonna switch it from a 6.5 Creedmoor to a 6mm, do a 6 GT. It's designed for success. Not that the 6 Creed isn't. 6 GT will give you everything. And there's nothing that says you can't take it. I don't know if you hand load. There's nothing that says you can't take a 6 GT and put a 103 in it, speed it up a little bit, and go hunt something with it. Get a 103X ELDX, put it in a 6 GT case, go kill a deer. Right? If you wanted to do that or you had the ability to do that, you could. Grumpy's asking about recoil management today. No, we're changing recoil management today. A 308, you loaded the bipod. And a Harris, and let's go back in time. 308, Harris, load the bipod, see the result of your shot. Today, 3-chamber break, 6.5 Creedmoor, 6 Creedmoor. It's more of a neutral load. Like if you ask the guys, Grumpy, about who took the Nebraska class, I don't know if they're still on or not. I don't push loading the bipod. We bridge it. I'm bridging the rifle and coming down, and that's enough to take the slack out of the legs. All you're doing today, and all you did then, was take the slack out of the legs. But with like a 308, you had to have your body position right. right? If you were a little crookedy and you took the slack out of the legs with a 308 in your bipod and you shot it, it was going to jump. If you take a 6 millimeter, take the slack out of your bipod with a 4-port brake, it's not going anywhere. So we're not pushing loading the bipod to that degree like we used to. It's more of a neutral load. I mean, neutral's becoming a bigger word. Jacob wants your MPA neutral, right? We've gone from a natural point of aim to a neutral point of aim. We've gone from weighting the rifle, like to balance your rifle, to add weight to it. Throw as much weight as you can. Now we want a neutral balance, right? I want the rifle balanced in a neutral position so I can take my tripod, open up the ball head, and it stays in place. It doesn't fall over, right? So if I go and unlock my ball head with a balanced rifle that's neutral, when I unlock it, it stays and it doesn't fall. If it's weighted but not balanced or neutral, and I don't have it in the right spot, when I unlock it, it falls over, right? So neutral. With the bipods today, depending on your rifle, depending on the weight, depending on the bipod, and how you're shooting it, it's more of a neutral load. I still want to stack my body behind it correctly, but I don't need to drive the rifle like we might have described with a 308. You know what I mean? The 308, much bigger bang, a lot of people shorter barrels, lighter rifles, right? 12-pound 308, 20-inch barrel, maybe no brake, Harris bipod. You had to do it all right. Now you got an Atlas bipod, you got an 18-pound rifle, 6 millimeter, in a 3-port ported brake. It's not going anywhere. You don't need to be like, and on it. You know what I mean? So it's a lot less of a process than what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So we're seeing more of it change. We're probably at an inflection point where some of the older terminology is blending with the newer terminology. So there's very little separation yet. You know what I mean? So loading the bipod is still mentioned, but it's not a load like it was then. It's more of a bridge. It's more of a neutral stacking of your body behind it. You know what I mean? To the point where, again, tripod. We're not exploding off the tripod. If I set my rifle up neutral on the tripod, I'm zeroing on it and it's not knocking me off target. I can still see, right, what I'm doing. So it's a neutral position. We're trying to get as neutral as possible. And so that's a lot of where the terminology has gone today. It's gone to a neutral position. It's gone to a neutral where it's not a natural point of aim, it's a neutral point of aim. You're not loading the bipod, you're stacking your weight behind it, a little more of a neutral position. You don't have to put a heavy recoil into it. And again, it does depend on the weapon system. It does depend on what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what you're shooting. But we're coming into that crossing of terminologies, right? Where the old terms are coming out and the new terms are coming in. And right now, we're probably right here. You know what I mean? This is where we are right now. If you go to 2015, anything we were selling you training wise in 2005, we probably got out of it. 2016. The comp people are doing things different. The military people are doing things different. Maybe even 2018. 2018, it was this way now, right? What we taught in 2005 was here, and what we're teaching now is here. So you weren't really blending. Yeah, exactly. So he confirmed what I was saying. So loading a bipod with a 308, grumpy old tater there is loading a bipod with a 308. He loaded the bipod with his 308. Now he's shooting a 125 grain at 3,200 feet per second with a 14-pound rifle and a 3-port brake. It's more neutral because it's not exploding out of you. The brake's doing all the work. We're letting the rifle do the work. We let the tripod do the work, right? 40 millimeter, good ball head, inverted ball head, solid. There's weight behind this guy. Let the tripod do the work. Don't make yourself push into the tripod. Let the tripod do the work. Set the rifle up in a neutral position. Let the tripod do the work. And then manage the recoil behind you. It's managed recoil. I'm not stacking all of Franken behind the tripod. I'm about 65 to 55% of Frank behind the tripod. I'm not 100% of Frank. I'm not 75% of Frank. I'm about 50, 65% of Frank behind the tripod. And if you get in and get on the rifle, find your target and do all that and look at your wobble zone. What's my wobble zone doing? How big is it? Then start backing your pressure off and then seeing where the rifle recoils. If you drop that hand, that support hand down and don't do any, crazy, I don't need to do this. I don't need to flip my hand and do anything weird. No. I'm on the controls. I bring my hand down. If I need to keep the nose of the rifle down a little bit, I can put a little bit of forward pressure on the apex and keep the nose down. But I'm only about 65% of my shoulder into the rifle. I want to see how it recoils and how much of the target I still can see, but I don't want my wobble zone to open up. So I'm on it. I look at my wobble zone. I start backing off, back off pressure. As soon as, as an example, you get on your tripod, you get on your rifle, and let's just say you uneducated, putting 100% of yourself or close to 100% of yourself behind the rifle, you have a 3/10 wobble zone, right? You're looking at the target and you're like, fuck, I got a 3/10 wobble zone. 3/10. Well, then I want you to back off your pressure till you get 2/10. Shoot it and see what the recoil looks like. Make some small adjustments with your hand and things like that and shoot it. Make sure you're balanced and it's as neutral as possible. Then I want you to back off even more pressure till you have 1/10 wobble. Shoot it and see what your sight picture looks like. You may find with a 1/10 wobble, you lose the target a little. Didn't see the smack. I saw it hit. I don't know where. I know I hit it. I don't know where. Well, then play with a little bit of the offhand pressure just to keep the nose down. Now, with that 1/10 wobble, give me a hit, but tell me where you hit it. I hit here. Call your shot. Call your shot. Boom, right there. Boom, right there. And then see how you play that pressure behind your tripod, old, right? Where's my pressure? Where's my hands? What am I doing? The rifle, the weight, all of that. Lighter rifle's going to fly up a little bit more. Heavier rifle's going to sit in. Weight's on the nose, right? Why we put weight in the front? Keep the nose down. I want my nose down. Look at photographs where you see some of my weights are forward. I want my nose down. I want enough weight so it's not going to lift up the front leg of the tripod. If I could put just enough weight and balance it, I'm going to hold that up. A 3/8 series is good, Kyle. Um, yeah. So here's an S3, here's an inverted. I have an S2 inverted right here. I'm pretty sure this guy's inverted. Right? There's an S2 inverted right there. S2 inverted. I didn't take it out. And this is an S3, Kyle, right here. So here's your I gotta type this guy. Here's your S3 Juggernaut right there. A little more compact, still heavy. A 3/8 series is good. This is a 4.0, I believe. A 3/8 is good in the Leofoto. The 3/8 series, 3/8-2, that's a two-section inverted. 3/8-2. 3/8 is your diameter. Diameter on the leg, 3/8. 2, two sections, right? A 3/8-3 would be 38 diameter, 38 millimeter, three sections. So the first two numbers are your diameter, your last numbers, the leg sections. That's how the tripods in the numbers are done. But here's an S3, and I have an S2 right next to it. And I think they're fantastic. Bang for the buck. I think they do a nice job. These guys worked really hard. It has all the features in it. Like I said, this is a Morgan King product, so he's on the top of his game. He knows what he's doing. There's no questions on that. And so, yeah, Kyle, these just came in. We were talking about it. These just showed up yesterday. So this week I'm going to do some lives and I'm going to walk you through the tripods that way. But absolutely, a 3/8 series is or a 38 millimeter is good. A 40 millimeter in the Leofoto. Now again, the difference between a really right stuff is it's the same weight rating for a little smaller tripod. You're going to save probably 2 to 3 pounds with a really right stuff versus a Leofoto, anywhere from 2 up to 4, depending on how big you get it. But 2 to 4 pounds is the difference. And then the price is significant. My Anvil 30s over there are 1600. Yeah, yeah, they just came in. They just came in, and so these are really nice. And this week I'm going to be live talking about them. I'll go through the whole feature setup on the Hide because I'll have my rifle with me. I won't do it on social media, but I'll do it on the Hide TV because I can then have the rifles and do whatever I want. But I'm going to go through these two tripods this week. I'm going to go through Chad's load scope program. And so then once I get past the Manners match at George's Range. I'll go out and then we're going to talk the NX6 with the 106 arcs, and we'll do that because the arcs are done. So I'll have the little shorty arcs and the different stuff that we can play with and look at numbers and all that. But I understand Leofoto works with everyone. They're not your typical take what we give you. Here it is. These guys have been amazing partners with a lot of shooters for quite a few years now. Yeah, and Kyle, just so you know, if you go to Leofoto Outdoor, Kyle, Hide, capital HIDE 20 discount code for Leofoto. Go to Hide 20, you'll get a discount code for Leofoto. I actually could write it right there if I wanted. Hide 20 will give you it's Leofoto Outdoors. That's for shooting. Hide 20 will get you a significant discount on the products out there. So use your Hide 20 discount and you can look at any of these Leofotos you want. S2, S3 Juggernauts are out there. They're here. Improved ball heads, improved leg sections, leg locks For the guys comping who want to move the tripod in and out, you don't have to buy a third-party lock. So, Hide 20 Leofoto. You got it. Who else we got? Marty. It is a little bit of a. It's close. It's not a direct copy. They have stuff to get around the patents. They're close. They're not. They had a direct Anvil 30 copy. It did not work very good. This is a new version of it. It's a little smaller than they had. It's still inverted. It's got several points of tension. So the only real copy is the lever. The lever's similar, but how they're managing this on the new Leofoto shooting head, and then the other heads were completely different. You don't have to get an Anvil 30 copy. But their direct copy when they had it was not the same. It did not hold up the same as the Anvil 30. This one is a new version I haven't tried yet. But it's very different. So they made it a little bit different. So there you go. It's close, but it's not 100%. And the leg systems aren't either. You know what I mean? Like this is bigger and heavier. This is just a seriously drop free. I mean, these guys drop like nobody's business. They're super that. And then up here's the locks and stuff in here. You can't quite see it, but they got the locks in the legs and the buttons and all the different things to do it. So um again, and then here's another lock system right there, and then there that locks that up. So that spins with that. And see, they even did a almost like a pod lock to lock this guy up. So then that locks that up right there. So I have this external lever right here that locks this. If I loosen it, this spins free. And then if I come in here and lock that. So feature, 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 and then the leg system is slightly different than your really right stuff. They are attempting to separate themselves from really right stuff in a way. And like I said, right stuff's going to be lighter with the same weight rating on a smaller tripod, but cost you more money. And then the nice Apex Anvil 30, no drama. There's no need to change really right stuff in that way. But these, little heavier, which is more stability for some guys, different feature set on the head for adjustability, lock set, and things like that. So you are looking at a little bit different feature set versus a really right stuff. This one seems like it's the same spot, but it might be different. I'll have to do a comparison, A versus B. I mean, like I said, I got an Anvil 30 right here, where I can grab it. Oh, here's a little one. I'll grab just the ball head one instead of the. So I got my little guy with a 30 on it. So here's an Anvil 30, and then if you're looking at the lever, an Anvil 30's lever reverses, right? You can reverse an Anvil 30 for lefties. It has the lock system and it has the ARCA system in here. So there's a little button that'll pop up right there. There's a button that locks into certain ARCA rails. And so that system, this is going to be a little bit more compact, shorter, and like that. And then you know how your tension, and now the new ones um do adjust the tension. So you can push this guy in and out through there, adjust tension right here. And this one is just slightly, right? It's going to have more levers and things on it. So this has a lever lock here with an adjustment here, an adjustment here. And so this is slightly different. And then the levers are pretty close now with this new one. The levers are pretty similar. So when you look at the levers, they're not quite different, but yeah, I mean, this is the original, the only thing. Now, part of the thing I tell people all the time is if you have tripod legs and you want to put a shooting ball head on it, this is the best one to get. The Really Right Stuff Anvil 30. The difference in price isn't so great that, I mean, you're basically saving tax. So, yes, you can buy the complete systems and save money. Like this S2 is $900. An Anvil 30 is 1600. So that's a big savings, right? But if you have legs and you just want to put a shooting ball head on, the Really Right Stuff Anvil 30, you don't save any money going online and buying a knockoff. It's pennies, it's tax. You're saving the tax. So I recommend for guys who already have legs to do the Anvil 30 and to do that. Like even my two vets, I have an Anvil 30 on it. I have the two vets legs, but I have an Anvil 30 head. You know what I mean? So I do that with them. And then like this one, I have this up here. This is the tripod they use for the um Vectronics. So this is the Vectronics tripod, and then it has the little extensions and things like that. No, I'll put my finger in here, Marty. Marty's asking if anybody does it like that, and he puts his hand there. I just drop my hand to the apex. So if this was shorter and on, I go from here, I lock it, and then my hand just goes right here. And then if I need to keep the front leg down, I can sort of palm and put pressure on the apex at the legs. But I'm not doing that, like that. They have the Leofoto has the one that has the lock and the twister grip, which stays right here. Got the big ball with the horseshoe. But no, I'll run it in here and I have my finger, but then I come straight down to the apex. So like um if I was running this, I'm here, I come in and then my hand just goes like that. Then I come back up, then my hand goes like that. So I'm always just right here. I never really come off my apex with my hand. It just rests right here. And then if I need to, I can put a little bit of pressure on the front leg, and not left or right influence. I'm trying to center line influence on the front leg. So I can do that. So my hand goes from here straight down, from here straight down. I'm not doing a reverse. The reverse was to bind. Like, it cracks me up every time I see a guy do that and turn his hand upside down who's not touching the rifle. It's like, why would you bring your hand from here all the way over here? Right? Think about this guy's short like this. Hang on. Right? So people are here. They're shooting like here. Right? They're up here shooting. There we go. They're up here shooting, and then their hand goes upside down right here. It's like from here, upside down right here. What is this doing? Nothing, 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 nothing. From here, here, from here, here. Or I'll stay in here if I'm going to be moving through another shot. My finger will be in here. And then I'm just here. I'm here, 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 here. And like I said, if I need a little bit of forward pressure, I can just bring my hand down to the apex and put a little bit of forward pressure on the center line. And I'm not hanging to the side. Because think about recoil. I'm hanging a weight to the side. And then once the rifle comes up, if that leg comes up, now I'm back into the left, back into the left, back into the left. So my hand goes from here to here. What do I got? Oh, in the background. Oh, that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I got like I said, I'm so tripod heavy. Like after the Nebraska class, yeah. Oh well, yeah. Depending on the person, absolutely. The reason they went upside down was to brace the rifle. So the rifle, when the in the shitty tripod like this one behind me, this tripod's an old one. Doesn't have a weight rating at all, and that's why it's an information station now. But this guy, they move. You know what I mean? And what you used to do is you used to come a reverse, and then the magazine, you pushed it against the slat. So you pushed like your hand went, and you were kind of pushing you were pinning the magazine and the rifle against the movement of the tripod. And so we don't do that anymore. These things flex and move. Right? These things flexed and moved. So you came here and you pushed against it because there's movement in this guy. And so that's kind of what happened is that they flexed and moved. And so you were like, you're slinging around and all that. If you weave your sling into a modern tripod, you're influencing it. Why would you weave your sling into a tripod with 120? This thing has a 125-pound weight rating. 125 pounds. That one's 25. So you needed to do creative things to increase that guy's 25-pound weight rating to 50. So you used the sling and you braced it with your arm. 125-pound weight rating. You don't have to do anything, and the more you do, the worse it is. You want the tripod to do all the work there, Marty. You don't want you to be influencing it negatively, And so if you're moving your hand around, you absolutely can influence it. We have a checklist. I have a tripod fundamental checklist that we look at and we go through and say here, 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 because we want to see, can you zero your gun at 100 yards? God, I may have the picture. Let me see. Let me see if I can, I'll do this. Hang on. I got a million pictures, but I mean, we're shooting little bitty groups off these tripods. Here. Uh, I mean, that's a group on my tripod. I'm shooting that off a tripod. I'm not going prone and doing this stuff. I'm doing it off a tripod standing. And these are the groups I'm shooting. That's 5 shot and there's like 2 holes there. Look at this other one. This other group's even better. Let me see if I find it. A lot of them are, some of them are video. I'm trying to find one that's not video. I mean, all of this is being done off a tripod with us. I'm not. There's like one little insano group if I could find it. Like you could barely see that. That's a group off a tripod. Right over there. That's the group off the tripod. It's 1 hole. You know what I mean? I'm letting the tripod do a lot of the work. So I'm just coming in and executing. In neutral. Again, it's neutral. Right? So I'm coming in and executing it. Chad. Yeah, so that's all. And again, I'm trying to be as new. What the hell is that? Trying to be as neutral as possible with that stuff. But I'm doing all of it off the top of the tripod. I very rarely go prone. Like now, what I'll do is I'll stand up like this on a bench, right? So I'll take the bench, I'll put the rifle on the bench, and I'll just do this. And that's my prone. My prone is standing behind a bench with both my elbows on a bench. I'm not really going prone because standing on a bench with my elbows on the bench is prone for me. So most of the time I'm doing it on the tripod because I'm not going to use that bench after, and I'm going to use a tripod. I'm going to move to different positions in a tripod that way. I want to look at two things. One, prone versus standing on a tripod. Where's my zero? Did it move? Is it like a tenth between them? So so that's kind of where I'm going with those things. But these tripods today, like I said, these guys are invested so much time. They're working with people. And again, why you're not going to see me bag on Leah Photo. Leah Photo's out there working with shooters, working with competitors. They're giving us the best price possible with as many useful features as they can include. And so it's a positive thing in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, I mean, that's just where we're at. Man, I'm gonna get ready to take off, man. It's 2 hours in. I didn't realize it was I didn't realize it was 11:45. I've been talking to you guys forever. So hey Mike. Mike's there. Hey Mike. Mike, I got 500 rounds, Mike. I got 500 rounds of the A tips. 500 rounds of the A tips, Mike. 500. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to be live this week on The Hide doing tripods, doing different stuff. So come see me on The Hide this week. We'll be live. The videos will go to video on demand. Friday, Saturday, we'll be in Iowa. And then those guys here will be doing the manners. I dropped some shirts, books, and some things for the manners match. Good luck, everybody, in the manners match. And again, thank you everybody who's on and who's watching and who's paying attention. Really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna jump up and go grab stuff, but thank you all. Appreciate it. Leah Photo, Hide 20. Leah Photo Outdoors, Hide 20. Discount codes on tripods. S2, S3 in the house. We'll be mounting the Night Force to the 6 arc coming from Gap. I'm going tomorrow to get it. And then load base this week, or load scope. Load base was the old Patagonia. Got load chads on there. Check out, if you're a reloader, load scope, right? It's a desktop and companion. It will take care of your load development. What is it going to do? Your ballistics to go with it. It'll read your Garmin. It'll read your Ballistic X. It'll read different programs. Chad's there, load scope. Make sure you check that guy out. So take it easy, guys, and we'll see you soon. And we'll be bringing you some lives. Really appreciate you all. Cheers.